Okay, now that we have our completed unit circles, let's go ahead and practice. Okay, so sine of pi sixths, so that would be the y coordinate at pi sixths, so that would be 1/2. Here, I'll circle it so you see. So there's pi sixths, and I'm looking for 1/2 because the y coordinate is the sine. Okay, the cosine of 5 pi sixths is the x coordinate at 5 pi sixths, so that's negative root 3 over 2. The tangent of 3 pi fourths, so we're looking for the slope of the line at 3 pi fourths, so that's negative 1. The tangent of 7 pi fourths, so 7 pi fourths is right here, and we're looking for the sine over the cosine there. So that's also negative 1. You can memorize the tangents, or you could have also done the sine over the cosine. Then you'd flip and multiply. These reduce, and you're left with just negative 1. Or you can just get your tangents memorized. The sine of pi halves is the y coordinate there, so that would be 1. And then the cosine of negative pi sixths, so I start here at 0 and I rotate negative pi sixths, so that's clockwise. So that's coterminal with 11 pi sixths. And I want the cosine there, so I'm going to take root 3 over 2. Okay. All right, example 6. So for sine of negative 15 pi over 3, let's start by finding the coterminal angle. So I'm going to add 2 pi. Now I'm going to need to get a common denominator. So when I add my 2 pi, I'm actually going to add 6 pi thirds. Okay. Now notice that when I do that, I end up with negative 9 pi thirds, which is still above 2 pi, 0 and 2 pi. So I'm going to add 6 pi thirds again. Oops. And I end up with negative 3 pi thirds. So I'm going to add the 6 pi thirds again. Now remember, the 6 pi thirds is like me adding 2 pi over and over. Okay. And I end up with 3 pi thirds. Oh man, my handwriting. I end up with 3 pi thirds, which reduces to pi. So when it's asking for the sine of negative 15 pi over 3, it's really asking for the sine of pi. Well, the y coordinate at pi is 0. So I know that that answer is 0. All right, cosine of negative 5 pi sixths. So I start at 0 and I rotate negative 5 pi sixths. So that would be here at 7 pi sixths. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for right here. And it asked for the cosine, so that's the x coordinate, so that's negative root 3 over 2. Now, if you would prefer to not just rotate that negative angle, remember you can always add 2 pi. Now I'm going to add it as 12 pi sixths so that I get a common denominator, and I end up with 7 pi sixths. So that's another way to think about how I got the negative root 3 over 2. Okay, let's look at the tangent of 13 pi sixths. So I'm going to subtract 2 pi this time to get it to be a standard angle between 0 and 2 pi. If you forgot how to do these coterminal angles, please make sure you go back to your 11.3 stuff. So I'm going to subtract 12 pi sixths, and I end up with 1 pi sixths. So really, when I'm asking for the tangent of 13 pi sixths, I want to know what the tangent of pi sixths is. Okay, so if I go back up to my unit circle, I have root 3 over 3 is my tangent at pi sixths. You can get those tangents memorized, or you can just do your sine over your cosine. And our last one is tangent of pi halves. So let's go up, pi halves, 1 over 0. Well, that one ends up being a divide by 0 error, so it would be undefined. Good work, and we are finally done with the unit circle. Hooray!